I've had a lot of people ask me recently how to dry roses and how to dry other flowers because they're not having much success with it. And actually, it's so easy. It really is a lot easier than you would think, as long as you follow a few simple steps and use the right products for drying with. Now, what I'm going to show you today is how to dry some roses. I'm also going to do a comparison to show you which one works the best. I've got this silica gel crystals, which are really brilliant, fine crystals. And these are by Wisedry as well. And I will link them in the description below. And we're going to compare those against these types of silica, which are the balls. So those sorts of things. Now, these can be quite useful. But what I do find with these balls, that they do leave a lot of indentations on the flowers afterwards, and can sometimes strip out the petals, and can sometimes strip out the colours. So all I do when I want to prepare some flowers for drying is I pick what I hope is the freshest flower that I can find, and then I make a decision on what I'm going to dry. And I love drying leaves as well, because I find that leaves really look pretty in a lot of resin things. So I'll cut off some good leaves first, in bunches, like in bunches, I don't know if they're bunches, groups of leaves like this. But I'll also do individual ones, and I'll show you how I do those. And once I've got enough leaves, then I dry those at the same time as I'm drying the rest of the flowers. And roses can dry beautifully as well. Now, I dry my roses with quite short stems, because often I'm going to be putting them into resin. So I dry them like that. But if you want to dry a stem as well, perhaps I'll do a couple and show you. You can dry the stem and then put them together once they're dry using some florist wire. And I like to dry my flowers in a deepish pot, because you can get a really good coverage on them. And I use, oddly enough, because I use these for so many different things, as you probably already know, is ice cream tubs. They seal up lovely, and they also have got a nice depth to them. I have to find some use for them to justify eating so much ice cream in my life. I'm going to use these two for the other flowers, because I want to do a complete honest comparison, so you can make up your own minds of which one you think is better. All I do, the same is for both of them. I will put some of these little balls down in there. And I'll also put some of this really fine silica sand or silica gel in there as well, like that, because that gives you a nice base to start with. The other great thing about this silicone gel is you can really do them quite quickly in the microwave. Now, I'm not going to do that in this video. I will save that for a separate video. So once I've got them in there like that, you've got something to put your flowers into. Now, I don't like to cram them too near together. I think it's much nicer, and you get a better result if you give them a little bit of space. And can you see what I mean about these ice cream tubs? They are really nice and deep, and the flowers will sit up in them really well. Now we've got those in there, and we've got those nicely spread out. I've got this kind of similar colours of them into each of them. What we need to do now is gently go around and fill up, putting the balls as well inside of the petals, because you want to make sure that you've got them in there, but try and keep them well supported first. Now, on a price comparison, these little balls, I've already dried flowers in these before, look. These little balls are more expensive. You don't get as many in the bag as you do is the silica gel. I mean, that's 2 bags full in there, and that is just covering up those roses. And now what I'll do is I'll put a lid on there nice and tight. I'll kind of burp the lid a little bit, because I don't want any air in there, and then I'll put that to one side. So regarding the Wisedry, you get a lot more for your money. And because it's not little balls as well, I find it gets into those flower petals much easier. And again, all you need to do is just go around these, making sure you fill your petal up. Fill up around the edges of your rose as well. Because this is such a big bag, I put it into a little cup first, because then it's not as heavy. I want to make sure I've got a good amount on the top of those. And this is where I just stick in my stems. So I did a couple of stems. I'll just put those in there. Oh, let's put one in here as well. One in each of them. Got to be fair, ain't we? Fair when we're doing a comparison, I say. Got to be fair. About right. So we'll pop that in there. And the same with the leaves. all I do is I put the leaves on the top. Now, unfortunately, we've run out of balls here, so we're going to have to make do with it like this. But we have got enough silica gel, and this is what it makes a difference. You want to get the money's worth out of this as well. And that was 2 bags of these balls that I bought. I will seal both of them up like that. Burp them a little bit. Make sure they're both sealed. Yep. And now you want to put them somewhere where you're not going to keep knocking them and moving them, because you don't want to be moving the flowers around. I will leave these for about 7 days and then I'll check on them. The other great thing is you do get great instructions with both of them. You get some really good ones with this, and it does show you how to do them in the microwave as well with the Wisedry. But what we'll do is we'll see a comparison afterwards and we'll see which one gives the superior result. Well, these have been in here now for 9 days. Normally I would only leave them about 7 days, but to be honest, I haven't had a chance to get back to them. So what I'm going to do is I've just got a tray here, and I'm going to slowly and gently, well, as slowly and gently as I can, get these roses out and pour the stuff on here. It all look really well dried, which is important. And there isn't. So I'm going to put these back in this pot and then do the same with the other one. Then we can have a look at and see which one has done the best job. I normally end up with a lot of these little balls on the floor, but hopefully I won't today. And remember, there was 2 bags of this stuff went in there. So price comparison wise, there was a lot more of this went into there than there was in that other one. And there was only half a bag. See, these bounce all over the place. They do make a nice, quite a nice satisfying noise though. And these are nice and dry after the 9 days. And what I'm going to do is pop those ones back in there, and then we can have a look at them in comparison. So let's do a comparison of the two. So far I can definitely see a difference. Now, this stuff really comes out of these flowers very easily. You just need to tap it and it just falls out, which is great without damaging any of the flower. Oh, that is so paper dry. I'm not sure if that camera's picking it up. That is nice and clean and completely dry. This stuff does also come out. This isn't as dry either. I've got to be honest. That is still damp. I would need to put that in for a little bit longer, because if not, that is going to rot. Yeah, they're all like that at the ends, where these ones, all these are completely dried. And I think that's because this sand gets into a lot more areas on a tightly closed bud. Additionally, it seems to keep the colour a little bit better. And can you also see where the sand is? You've got no dimples, and the one with the balls, you've got lots and lots of dimples, and that is the trouble with the balls. See, look, in this one, they're all now stuck into that tip of that rose, and you have to get them out, and sometimes have to pick them out using tweezers, and that damages the flower, where these have come out completely clean. And again, that one is quite dimpled. Let's have a look on a lighter one, actually. It might look better. It might show up better. So that one is quite dimpled, where that one is lovely and smooth. For roses, 100%, I will never be using the little balls again anymore. I will definitely be using this silica gel crystals, because they are just amazing. And this Wisedry stuff is just really brilliant. You get loads of it as well. And look how nice and flat those leaves are. And because I had 2 bags of this in here, I didn't have enough, and those ones are curled up. So those roses are definitely nowhere near as good as those. So far, Wisedry Silica Gel, Flower Dry and Sand is a million times better than these. Firstly, it's dried the flowers completely, and secondly, it hasn't left all these little bobbles and marks on the flowers. Still bits coming out of them. I've got an equal amount of the same flowers again for this one. I have no clue what sort of flowers they are, and I'm going to be doing them in exactly the same way, and that is by having some in the base, pushing these down into the stuff that I've got in the base, and then pouring the drying product around them. I've taken these out of the silica gel and out of the little balls, and this is the Wisedry Silica Gel ones, and these are the little balls. Now, as you can see, there is a massive difference in the delicate flowers, and I treated them exactly the same. The balls just crunched this one over and didn't really do it justice at all. And as you can see, there is still lots of little indents in this where the balls sit, where the gel or the sand covers it completely and dries them out lovely. And this is not dry in the middle, which is still a shame. And the same for the white one. I mean, that white one is just perfectly dry. There is no little marks on that whatsoever, where on this one you can see lots of little marks. And it destroyed these ones. And none of these are dry, even though the other side, the Wisedry ones, are. Now this one, the daisy, I think that's a daisy. Who really know? I have no clue. That one didn't come out too bad. And if you saw that one in its own, you'd think, oh, that's really pretty. But when you see it in comparison to the ones that have been done with the Wisedry Silica Gel, you can really see the difference. The colours are much clearer. It's not damaged at all. This one is dry right the way through. But look at the back of that one. All the dents and things in it in comparison to this one. So there is no doubt for me that the Wisedry Silica Gel or Silica Sand is far superior to the crystal, the silica little balls. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Certainly the Wisedry gel crystals, superb product, without a doubt. Absolutely streets, leaps and bounds ahead of using this other product, the little balls. I think it gives you a much better result. Please hit the thumbs up if you found this video to be useful. It really will help me. Check out all the links, and I will link everything that I've used today in the description below. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.